You ever just look at the world around us and wonder how it all gets built? Well, we're about to dive into this massive, revolutionary shift that's happening in construction right now. And it's not about building bigger or faster. It's about building smarter. We're talking about totally rebuilding the blueprint for how we create our future.
I mean, you know the scene. You look at any growing city, and there they are. Cranes dotting the skyline, the skeletons of new buildings reaching up. For forever, this has been the ultimate symbol of progress, right? A huge testament to our ambition and our ingenuity.
But as our buildings climb higher and higher, we've got to stop and ask a pretty tough question. What's the real cost of all this? And I'm not talking about money. I mean the cost to our planet and the kind of world we're actually leaving behind for the next generation.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to look past those shiny new buildings. We need to dig into the materials, the old school methods, and yeah, the mountains of waste that have kind of defined construction for the last century. Are we really building a better world, or are we just cementing a much, much bigger problem?
This quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. The source material is crystal clear on this. The way we've been building has a massive environmental footprint. We're talking about huge amounts of CO2 from just making cement, all the energy needed to power the sites, and just so much waste. The point is, this isn't a small issue. It's a huge challenge that needs a totally new way of thinking.
So what's finally pushing this change? Well, it isn't just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of 4 different pressures. 4 massive wake-up calls, really, that are forcing the entire industry to rethink everything from the ground up.
Okay, so first, you've got the raw, undeniable environmental impact we just talked about. Second, we're hitting a wall with limited resources. We just can't keep pulling stuff out of the ground like it's an infinite supply. Third, the costs are just getting crazy, for materials, for energy, you name it. And finally, there's this growing wave of new laws and regulations that are demanding much higher standards for how buildings perform. All 4 of these together, that's some serious momentum for change.
This slide just captures the whole story perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, that's the old way, heavy, resource-hungry, leaving behind a huge environmental debt. But on the right, that's the new vision, a world where our buildings are part of nature, super energy efficient, and designed for the well-being of people and the planet. It's literally the journey from our past to a much brighter future.
So, with all those pressures mounting, a smarter, more responsible way to build is finally taking hold. It's called sustainable construction, and it's a complete reimagining of the entire process, from the very first sketch to the day the building comes down.
So what is it really? Well, at its core, it's a way of building that works with the environment, not against it. The whole goal is to shrink that negative footprint by making smarter choices about the materials we pick, the way we design things, and how those buildings actually work over their entire lives.
And here's how it actually works in practice. It all starts with smarter materials. We're talking about using recycled steel, renewable stuff like mass timber, or even new low-carbon concrete. Then, it's about designing to cut down on waste from the get-go. Maybe using things like modular construction. Next, you build for insane efficiency with better insulation and smart systems. And all of that leads to the big prize, buildings that use way, way less energy for decades. You see, this whole shift is about so much more than just a few green buildings here and there. It's about rethinking the fabric of our cities. It's about creating places where people and nature can actually thrive together. This is really about the legacy we decide to build.
And look, this vision, it isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. This is the goal, a future where our buildings actually produce their own clean energy, where green spaces are just a normal part of the city, a future where our cities become a positive force for the environment. The blueprint to get there, it's already here.
The tools, the knowledge, the materials to build this better world, they aren't just ideas anymore. They exist today. The path from the old way to this new vision is not just possible, it's absolutely essential. So the real question isn't whether we can do this. The only question left is, will we? What will we choose to build next?